Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2. And today I'm going to be giving you part 9 of What If Naruto Pushed Himself to His Limit. And this is it for tonight guys. I'm going to be posting What If Naruto was raised by the Hyuga clan tomorrow guys. So yeah, stay tuned for that. I'm going to be posting early for you guys to enjoy. But you can also go ahead and check out the new episode of What If Naruto was sent to a parallel universe. And enjoy that guys. And also go ahead and check out the new episode of What If Naruto was born in the Uzumaki clan. So go ahead and enjoy it as well guys. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time hearing my voice and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. And yeah, without further ado, let's begin this new episode. Let's get straight into the intro. So, the last spot we left off, Naruto faced off against Kakazu, as Yujito faced off against Hidan, as Naruto channeled his three natures together, and then released them in a violent storm, destroying two of Kakazu's masks. But Kakazu pushed the rubber off him. Yujito was faced off against Hidan. She tried her best. Seeing the massive explosion, she turned her head. Hidan, seeing this as his chance, he sliced the two-tail on the legs, getting some of the blood as he licked it. Yujiro dashed towards him in her form, but she then crashed to the ground violently as Hidan impaled himself, as the blood loss was too much for her, as she passed out as he stabbed himself again. As Naruto saw Hidan arrive with Yujiro, as Naruto channeled the fox power, as six tails came behind him and a bone skeleton frame came over him, but he was still in control as he went furious. He shoved all of his tail through Hidan's body, shredding Hidan from the inside out, so that he could never reform, as he attacked Kakazu with furious, ferocious wild attacks, ripping his two masks apart, and then released a massive blast of energy to disintegrate Kakazu. As Naruto released his form, he quickly went over, as he tried to help the Navy as best as he can by applying Yujito's wounds outside, getting rid of the bacteria and the dirt inside of the wounds. After patching her up, it took an hour for Naruto to regain his strength because of using the 6 tails worth of chakra from the fox. As he head back to Komo, some time passed, as Naruto talked to the Raikage, getting information on who know about the mission, because seeing that Jiraiya gave them information about Akatsuki, the Raikage and B, and only the council members knew about the mission. So Naruto scanned through all the files. Yujiro awoke as she was in the bed, as Nebi told her about Naruto and that he stayed here the entire time, as she just smiled at him. As Naruto showed her a file, as she saw a man she never wanted to see again. He was a part of the council, as this man had tried to rape her 8 years ago. He was a council member, so she think nothing of it when he called to congratulate her when she became Jonin, but he tried to take advantage of her, saying that she's a demon and it wouldn't be wrong for her to serve him. That is what demons are good for. But he was stopped by the Raikage's vault, the same thing like Konoha Anvu, because of the Lord's supporters, and seeing that he was with the council for 13 years, he only got a year in prison, and then because of some political crap he got back on the council. As some time passed, a council meeting was called, as Kotek was there as well. As the Raikage informed him that someone in the council revealed information about their own shinobis, and especially a Jinchuriki. As Kotek started to sweat, as the Raikage turned all of his vault officers over towards him, Kotek was cursing until his eyes fell on Yujito, as he was about to call her a whore, but Naruto appeared in front of the man and jabbed several senmon needles into his throat, causing him extreme pain. As the man was taken away, as Naruto went out to get some sushi with Yujito that night, as they met up with Samui, Karu, and Amoy, as she was just happy that Naruto was here with her, and everyone. It was always lively when he was here. Jiraiya also sent a message towards Navi. It's gonna take longer than he thought. So yeah guys, that was basically as we left off. You guys can switch across the page and check it out for yourself. So, what is we begin this new episode? We begin this episode A, Yujito and Naruto, as they stood on the side of the one-way mirror. On the other side was Kote, and one of the vault members who specialized in interrogation. Kote looked like he was roughed up the other night, as his arms and legs were bound to a metal chair that was bolted to the floor. He had several cuts, and his left eye was swollen, and his lip was busted. As Naruto knew that it was standard procedure to be a prisoner before interrogation to lower their morale, while he had never done that before he saw multiple interrogation sessions when he was at Kiri. Kote, we can do this easier or the hard way, the vault officer said. He had spiky black hair and several scars running down from his face. I'm not gonna tell you shit, Kote screamed, as blood and spit came from his mouth. You demon lovers can all go to hell. The man shrugged before taking out the scroll the Raikage gave him. Very well, the hard way, he said, as he went over and unsealed the scroll, taking out the contents. Several strange pins, as they were about 5 meters long, as it was sharp at the end. Another thing he noticed was all the seals that were on the pins. As the vault officers pulled 2 of them and walked up to Kote, trying to encourage, Kote laughed. What are those things, he said, as you can hear by his tone how scared he was. Some new acupuncture technique, he asked. Something like that, the man said. He read what these were supposed to do last night, and he couldn't help but be impressed. Whoever come up with this was a genius. As soon as he got closer, he drove it right into the man's shoulder. Kote gave a wince as a sharp pain stabbed through him. But he tried to use the braveness he had left. Huh? That's it, he said. I guess I shouldn't expect much from an incompetent fool like you. The Scarman said nothing. He took up the metal pole as he channeled chakra through it and tapped the pin. Kote's eyes went wide before screaming in utter pain and agony. These pins are designed to unleash 65 volts of lightning when I channel chakra through this pin. It tends to screw up your nervous system and cause a lot of pain. Adding from the fact that it's grinding against your joints, you can see it's not very comfortable. Kote laughed, but it sounded like a painful wheeze. You think this is nothing? You think this is painful? Let me tell you, it's nothing. The vault officer simply added another pin as he tapped both of them, as Kote cried out in pain and agony, screaming for dear life. As Kote kept on taking tremendous damage to his body until the man added 3 more pins. Alright, I'll tell you, he said. Well, the vault officer said, I did sell out both demons to the Akatsuki. They offered me a lot of money, and I was happy to do what Kote said. But not only that, I was also asked to. Kote then screamed out in pain as everyone watched as a strange red seal came on his forehead. Naruto instantly recognized what it was. It was a dead man switch. It was placed on someone. It was like a birdcage seal to keep information from getting out. Damn it, Naruto said as he rushed into the interrogation chamber with A and Yujito. Hold him still, Naruto said, as Kote started to froth out of his mouth, blood pouring from his eyes and his ears. As the vault officer held down Kote as Naruto checked him, seeing the seal, it then quickly vanished. As a large amount of blood poured through Kote's eyes. As Naruto checked him, he's dead. It looks like a modified version of the dead man switch. Damn it, Naruto cursed. He barely gave out any information. That's true, Raikage said. But what we do have is quite valuable. And if I heard right, he was going to try and sell out B as well. Yeah, but since he's dead, that don't really help the situation, Naruto said, as he ran his hand through his hair. I'm going to study the seal design that I saw, and see what I can make of them. I'll return with the info today or tomorrow, Naruto said. Okay, I appreciate you doing that, the Raikage said, as Naruto waved him off. Not at all. Yuji-chan is important to me, so anyone that threatens her is my enemy. As Yujito blushed at the comment, making the Raikage laugh, as the scarred interrogator just looked amused. A day later, come in, said the Raikage. As Naruto entered the office, seeing the Raikage lifting weights like he always does. I have the information on the seal, Naruto said. The Raikage dropped the weight. Excellent. What have you found out, he asked. Naruto unrolled a scroll and placed on the Raikage's decks as he showed 2 seals. The Raikage saw the first one. That one appeared on Kote's head when he died. The second one he didn't recognize though. The first one I'm sure you recognize, Naruto said as he pulled up a seat. It's a dead man switch and is normally designed to stop the heart with the use of a hand sign. This one though has been heavily modified, where the other one was used to stop the heart in one go. This one destroyed the entire brain, starting at the frontal lobe, so no one can extract any information from it. That would confirm the autopsy on Kote, said the Raikage, as the people told him that the entire brain had been liquefied. Yes, however, the seal was also linked. This one, Naruto said, it was to activate the dead man switch when Kote talked about a specific subject. We can assume, seeing that he was about to give us information on Akatsuki, they were the one that put seals on him, but he seemed to not have known that. What Naruto did not mention was a seal. It was difficult to apply, and it was heavily hard to do in such a correct form. When Naruto heard that, Kote took away Nibi's chakra from her. He, remember, the seal that Orochimaru placed on him all those years ago, the 5 elemental seal, that was the one he placed on Yujito as well. But who could have gave Kote that seal? Very few ever became efficient with seals. So that means one thing. There was a complex seal master at work here, as Naruto wished he had his spy network back, so he could find out who gave him the seals. However, that was a mute point right now. You'll have to look into it later. Naruto! Naruto! Naruto was snapped out of his thoughts, turning towards A. Sorry, I was thinking about something. What were you saying again, Naruto asked. I was just asking, do you think there are any more spies in the council? Well, it is perfectly possible, but you can never know for sure unless you interrogate everyone in the council. Still, to play it safe, you need to assume that there's another spy, either amongst the council or the populace. The Raikage nodded as he also came to the same conclusion, but it is always good to hear a second opinion, and he trusted the Uzumaki Namikaze here. Very well, I appreciate the help, he said. Not at all, Naruto said. I am always happy to be assistance to my friends. As Naruto offered a nod of respect and left, as A picked up his weights and started again. Moments later, using the key that Yujito gave him, Naruto unlocked the front door as he went inside. As he smiled seeing her on the bed, as she was rolled up like a cat, and even purring in her sleep. As he took off his clothes and put them in the hamper, as the both of them have gotten some things for him, seeing that he comes here a lot. He had his own dresser filled with shinobi and civilian clothing and toiletries in her bathroom. Killer B and A actually joked that Naruto should live with her, as that got the both of them hit on the head by embarrassed Yujito. As Naruto went over and lied down in the bed, she just launched onto him. Even though she was sleeping, she wrapped her arms around him as she snuggled up in his chest. He simply smiled as he wrapped his arms around her, holding her tight. Time skip. Jiraiya looked over as Naruto flashed beside him. So I take it everything is square in Kumo. Yeah, there are a few extra problems I had to deal with, but everything is taken care of. How did Tsunade take it? Well, let's just say I'm not looking forward to see her, and I'm not gonna be explaining to her why you went off to face 2 Akatsuki members on your own. Naruto felt a shiver run down his spine. Well, I didn't have much of a choice. Yeah, I know they would have gotten one of your girlfriends, Jiraiya said, a grin. I'll probably put that in my next book. The hero goes off and saves his beloved from death, and then get his reward of having sweet, passionate. Jiraiya was smacked in the head as he fell down to the ground. If you keep on saying things like that, Erosenin, one day you're gonna regret it. As Jiraiya picked himself up, grumbling about no good kids who don't respect their elders. As they continued on their way, Naruto smiled, thinking about how everyone is going to react to his return, as they were going off to Konoha. Time skip. It was a peaceful day in Konoha, as the sun shined over the village, as a slight breeze ruffled through the entire area. Said peace was shattered as a black cat dashed through the civilians, running through people's legs, jumping over them. As 3 Genins were chasing after the cat, it was Konohamaru and his gang. As they managed to bat the cat in the alley, the cat tried to scale the wall, but several kunais stopped it in its tracks. The cat turned and hissed at them, but Konohamaru didn't mind that as he launched towards the cat, along with Udon and Moge, as they tackle it down to the ground. As the three of them were rustling until the cat slipped out, but neither of them noticed. When they then came to a stop, they realized they were holding on to each other. As Konoha released a scream that could be heard all over the village. Moments later, "Damn cat," said Konohamaru, as he watched the cat was getting squeezed by the fire daimyo wife, as he finally managed to catch it. As Konohamaru really couldn't understand why they got this mission with that stupid idiot cat. Once the daimyo left with their cat, Ebisu turned towards the team with a scowl, as he started to berate them for the mission, listing off their faults and their painful detail. As he told them that mission take way too long and they will be doing it over again as soon as it came up. But Sensei Mogi said, "You know how hard it is to catch a cat? With all the times we've done it, I'm sure that cat is used to running away." "I don't want to hear any of your excuses," Ebisu said with a scowl as he pushed his glasses up. "This just proved to me that you need more training since you lack the skill to perform this mission." But Konohamaru got pissed as they got this mission so many times. It wasn't fair. It just wasn't fair, as he felt they got this mission more than any other team. As he sit down and start to complain, saying that these missions were lame and he couldn't show off his real skills. As Iruka started to yell at him, telling him that he can only get C ranks after taking a numerous amount of D ranks, as Tsunade joined in on this and tell them that they have to work harder. He's still in the care as he turned around, showing his back to Tsunade as he crossed his arms. "I can't keep doing such boring missions. After all, I'm gonna be the 7th Hokage." Tsunade smirked as Konohamaru reminded her of Naruto. "But 7th? What about the 6th?" she asked. "That spot is already taken," he said. "Because Naruto is gonna get it, of course." Everyone went quiet hearing that. It has been 4 years since Naruto left with Jiraiya. As Tsunade and the others wonder what Naruto would be like when he got back. They knew he would not be the same little boy that they had known 4 years ago. The news of his exploits had traveled through Konoha and the entire Shinobi world by now. Based on that information alone, they knew he will not be the same Naruto they knew before he left. It's been 4 years since Naruto left to go training with Jiraiya-sama. I wonder when will he be back? Iruka thought out loud. According to Jiraiya report, they're gonna be a little late, said Tsunade with a frown. As she got a report 2 days ago, that Naruto went off to fight the Akatsuki. Though, the next message was clear, that the 2 Akatsuki members are dead and Naruto is fine. But why the hell did he went off alone? She sighed, knowing that she will not get much information, just worrying about that. I hope he come back soon. I really miss him, she thought. As the day went on, 2 figures finally arrived in the village. The both of them stopped looking over the village. As Naruto has gotten tall over the past 4 years, he's around 6 feet now. His hair has grown down to his shoulders, and 2 bangs in his face. But the bangs are being held up by the headband, as he was wearing a flap jacket with a black shirt underneath it, and the Senju necklace around his neck, black pants along with black boots. Around both of his arms were white bandages. He had on a pair of dark orange fingerless gloves. One of them had the Uzumaki swirl and another with Namikaze crest on it. I can't believe it's been 4 years, he said. As Jiraiya turned and smiled towards Naruto, the boy has grown in the past 4 years a lot, gaining strength even faster than his father had when Jiraiya had taken Minato on a training trip. Yet, even with all of that, Naruto still misses home. He still had that will of fire burning inside of him. "Come on, kid. We need to see Haim before she beat me to death for being late." "You know she's probably gonna beat the crap out of you anyways, right?" Naruto asks, as the both of them walk along. "Knowing you, Ero-sensei, you're about to make some perverted comment about her." Jiraiya eyebrow twitched. "Damn it, kid. How many times do I have to tell you? Stop calling me that." "Well, when you give up your perverted ways, I'll stop calling you that." Jiraiya grinned, like that will ever happen, he said. "Then you shall forever name Ero-sennin," Naruto said, or Ero-sensei. Despite everything, Naruto was grateful for Jiraiya, as the man was the closest thing he had to a father, and he respected the man a whole lot. Though there was a occasional time when Jiraiya get the wrath of a Rasengan, when he said perverted comments about Naruto girls. Now that they were silent, Naruto noticed the villagers, they were staring at him. The looks ranged from shock and awe and disbelief. But the girls, they were staring at him with so much lust. As Naruto did not understand how women can degrade themselves to give over their bodies to someone that they didn't even know. It was almost some form, making Naruto feel a slight sympathy for Sasuke. Well, almost. At least they're not fanboys, Naruto said. as Naruto channeled chakra into his ears to listen to what the people thought about him. I can't believe it. It's a fourth Hokage. He has rise from the grave. Idiot, that's Naruto Namikaze. He's the fourth Hokage's son. Stop lying. That can't be that lone mob brat who's always playing pranks. You obviously haven't heard about what he did in Kiri, have you? Shut up, one of the girls said. Who cares whose son he is or what he did? He's hot. I wonder if he let me have his children, another said. Naruto shook his head. These women didn't even see him. They just heard his name. Well, it seems like you're quite popular with the girls, kid, said Jiraiya. You know, Minato was also the lady killer back in his days. Well, you know I won't date a fangirl who only care about my clan name rather than me. I will only be with someone who loves me for who I am. As Jiraiya simply shrugged, he knew of his student desire to just be with women who loved him. Well, if Naruto was a perverted sleaze like him, he would have over 1,000 girls by now. But that was something he adapted from Minato. Minato could have had so many women it wasn't even funny. But he only desired to be with Kushina. Something that Naruto inherited from him. Well, Naruto did have multiple women, but all of them loved him. As the both of them made their way towards Hokage's tower, Tsunade in the tower sighed as she finally finished her paperwork. It took a lot of sake, but she's finally done. As she heard a knock on her door. With a sigh, "Come in," she said. The first thing Tsunade saw was that mop of golden hair. She dashed out of her seat, but she came to a stop, seeing the man standing in front of her. As she couldn't believe what she was seeing, that rough, handsome face, as well as all of his muscles. She was staring for so long she did not even notice that he stood in front of her. You know, Bachan, it's kind of awkward, having someone I think of a grandmother drooling over me, Naruto said. Tsunade blinked as she heard the familiar nickname as her mind rebooted. As she blushed in embarrassment for a second. Naruto? As she wondered if this was really the kid that left 4 years ago. Who else would call you Bachan? Naruto was stumbled back as she grabbed him in a bone-crushing hug. But he didn't wave her, he just hugged her back. I missed you, kid, she said, as she hugged him tight. I miss you too, Tsunade, Naruto said, using her name to show her how truly he missed her. Tsunade released him as she looked him up and down. God, kid, you look just like... He looked just like his old man Dusty, said a voice, interrupting her. As the two of them saw Jiraiya at the window, he does. I almost didn't recognize him if it wasn't for the whiskers, said Tsunade. I know what you mean, said Jiraiya. E has been mistaken a couple of times. I remember this one time we were on the board. You know I'm right here, right? Said Naruto. Don't speak of me like I'm not even here. As Tsunade and Jiraiya simply chuckled. As Tsunade went to sit back down. I heard you had a run-in with the Akatsuki, she said, fishing for more information. Oh, yeah, you see when I was in Kumo, I gave the two Jinjulki there, one of my Harushin kunai, so to call me if they were ever in trouble. If they ever ran the Akatsuki, they would use it. As Naruto shot a quick glance at Jiraiya, telling the man to keep his mouth shut about Yujito. Right now there were too many variables to let anyone know about his relationship. Like if people like Danzo found out about this, you'll have to deal with a whole new set of problems. Tsunade sighed and closed her eyes. She probably should have known that would happen, given her protective nature. And finding two more people like him, it would be obvious he would want to keep them from harm. I suppose I can understand that, kid. But you need to be careful, especially when dealing with Akatsuki, she said. Don't you worry, Bachan, I know what I'm doing, Naruto said. Her eyebrow twitched at the name, but she figured she can let it go for today. You know, feats of what you did have reached all over the elemental nations. It's good to see that you actually improved, she said. That's so cruel, Haim. Were you not expecting him to grow stronger under my care? Jiraiya asked with fake tears. Well, she probably thought you were going to be busy peeping on woman. You'd probably forget to train me, Naruto said. As Jiraiya sulked in the corner, as the both of them laughed. Tsunade got a serious expression. Semi-serious. You should know that the council also know about your feat in Kiri as well. Well, I already figured that much. Sensei and I saw the results outside. As Jiraiya mumbled about his name, as Tsunade laughed at the name. So, you expect the council will try to find a way to claim my clan's power, Naruto said. Either through arranged marriage, or through major ass kissing. Both Jiraiya and Tsunade cracked up to hear the rather blunt. Well, that was a complete right way to describe the situation. The Konoha Council was well known for their greed. Most of them were merchants who owned business inside and outside of Konoha. Because of this, they believed that they deserved more power than they were supposed to have. You would be right, she said. So how did they take it, my heritage getting revealed anyway, Naruto asked. Well, at first they threw a fit. Even when I showed them the marriage contract between Minato and Kushina. Your blood test and your certificate, they were fighting tooth and nail to not let you claim your inheritance. It wasn't until I told them what you didn't hear, then they had a change of tone. I see, Naruto said. Speaking of blood tests, I was wondering if I can get a test to see if someone have a Keiki Genkai. Tsunade blinked in surprise. You think you have a bloodline? She looked over at Jiraiya and glared, as she did not get any of this in any reports. When Naruto spoke, to be honest, I'm not sure if it's a bloodline or not, Naruto said. But by creating water and wind, I can create ice release. As Naruto held out his hand, as Tsunade saw, the water molecules in the air form a spear of water in Naruto's hand. It was just like her grand uncle ability, as he could pull the moisture from the air, but she was shocked when she saw what was next. The water freeze, turned to a crystal spear of ice. As Naruto threw the spear through the window, I also have the ability to use storm release, which is a combination of water and lightning, and the ability to do what I call a rating. A rating? Said Tsunade. Yes, I couldn't think of another name for it, Naruto said, as he started to explain his ability. Basically what it is the ability to control the weather. Tsunade looked at him shocked for a moment, as she wondered if she heard him right or not. By infusing and saturating the air with my elements, along with my control over my elements, I can create storms and make them do my bidding. Right now I have basic control over this ability, but I plan to work on it and improve it some more. However, I'm unsure if that is a bloodline, or if I just have high control over my affinities, he said. As Tsunade closed her eyes, as she took in several deep breaths, that rush of information she just got was something different. I see. Well, we can do a blood test later. For now, a knock was heard at her door. Tsunade-sama, Sakura says she opened the door without waiting for permission to enter. I have those files, She trailed off as she looked at the blonde who was talking to Tsunade. Like Tsunade a minute ago, Sakura's mind shut down. Her mouth hung down as her face became just like her hair, blushing. As Naruto walked over to her with a smirk on his face, he closed her mouth with a click. You know, it's impolite to stare, Sakura-chan, he said. As Sakura blinked. It can't be. Naruto, she said. As she was shocked. She couldn't believe it. This was Naruto? The one and only. How have you been, Naruto asked. Sakura blushed as she tried to regain her bearings. I've been good, she said. While the two former teammates were catching up, Jiraiya informed Tsunade about the things he left out about the blonde training. Most of what he said was information she already knew, but some of it was pretty surprising. Naruto, she said, as Naruto walked over. I plan on having you test today, but given what I just received, I will have your test tomorrow. Oh, that's fine. I'm guessing because Kakashi is outside your window, he's gonna be the person to test me, right? Sakura looked at him shocked. How could he know if Kakashi was there? Sensory ability was one of the hardest ability if you are not a natural sensor. As Kakashi stepped inside, giving Naruto a smile with a yo. As he looked so much like Minato. I'm impressed you were able to sense me, Naruto. It seems like you have grown a lot. I'm looking forward to see how strong you have become. So am I. But it looks like we're going to have to wait, Naruto said. Oh, I almost forgot. I have a present for you, Sensei, Naruto said, as he reached into his pouch. As Naruto tossed a red book to Kakashi, Kakashi caught it. As his eye went wide, he backed away as he couldn't believe what he was looking at. Thank you, Naruto, he said, as he cuddled the newest collection of each book to his chest, making the two female sweat drop. No problem, that one was actually mine, but I don't really care for a smut, so I never actually read it. As Naruto's statement caused the woman to look at him in the room with a newfound respect, but Jiraiya was glaring at the blonde. Hey, watch what you're saying, brat. That's my art you're talking about. Remember, your art is crap. Or have you forgotten my book has sold 4 times than your art combined? As the other three became curious. Naruto, did you write a book? Sakura asked. I'm glad you asked, Sakura, Naruto says. He pulled out a blue book with a woman wearing blue clothes on it. The moment they saw what it was, they appeared in front of Naruto with their own copies of the blue book, just magically appearing in their hands. As Naruto's eyes widened, it was the same thing like Koyoke. Oh, as he shook his head. You wrote this, said Sakura, as she was surprised. This is my absolute favorite book, said Tsunade. Can you sign it for me, she said. Mine too, said Sakura. Sure, said Naruto. as he smiled at Jiraiya the entire time. A victorious smile. "So, tomorrow at Training Ground 7 I assume," Naruto said, as he handed both women their books. "Yes," said Tsunade. "And don't be late," she said, glaring at Kakashi, as Kakashi just gave her a slight nod. "Since everyone knows about my heritage, can I live in my parents' house?" Naruto asked, as Jiraiya told him that his parents' original house was destroyed in Kyuubi's attack, but the third rebuilt it, so when Naruto took up his clan name. Tsunade nodded. There was no point denying what it was his. "Of course, I assume you know where the key is." Naruto walked over to the picture of his father, as Naruto removed the picture and bit his thumb as he wiped his blood across it, as the wall started to shimmy a bit. Soon the wall faded out, revealing a small cupboard as Naruto placed his hand inside and pulled out a key. "Thanks, Bachan, I'll see you tomorrow," Naruto said, as he disappeared in a burst of lightning, shocking everyone around him, no pun intended. "I can't believe that was Naruto," Sakura said, in her mind thinking about how hot he has become. "And to think he's the fourth Hokage's son," she said. "It should have been obvious," said Jiraiya. "I mean, who else here had the same spiky blonde hair?" As Sakura nodded to herself, he was right. Well, now that is over with," Jiraiya said, Tsunade in a sweet, soothing voice. "Yes, Haim," he said. "Come here. What is this I heard about you making my godson star in a porno movie?" she asked, as Sakura looked at the man with disgust. Well, a part of her wondered what was it like to sleep with Naruto, as she couldn't believe she was thinking about this. Well, now that she heard that he was in a porn movie, she has to watch it, as an image sprang into her mind of a naked Naruto, causing her to shake her head. No, Haim, let's be rational here," said Jiraiya as he held out his hands in front of him, as he realized he was backed up against the wall. "Mercy?" he begged. "Sorry, I'm all out of mercy," she said. Meanwhile, Naruto was walking as he stopped, as he heard a loud explosion as he saw his sensei fly from the Hokage's tower, as he simply shook his head. As he continued his walk, as Minato built his house behind the Hokage's monument, wanted to keep his jutsu and cushion and sealing art's privacy from prying eyes, as Naruto finally found the house, which was protected by a high wall and a gate he could not see over, as he saw several seals on the gate that were security seals. Well, this was not his father's work, he could see, as they were not very advanced. They were a bit sloppy than what you can expect from a seal master. He shrugged it off. It means you have to create his own security network, as Naruto bites his thumb and pours some of his blood on the key, as a seal and a ray light up on the key as he put it into the lock and turned it. There was a clicking noise as the key turned, as Naruto pushed in the gate, as he had to whistle at the sight in front of him. The house was large, as it looked to be about 3 stories, but it was long, and it was made in Japanese style and Western style texture. As Naruto smiled and made his way, using the same key to open the front gate, to open the front door. As he stepped inside, he was currently in the living room, as he saw a lot of leather couches that surrounded the coffee table. As a little to the left was a very large flat screen television. Situated around the room were several lamps that were giving off a dim light. As he explored the rest of the house, with his first stop being the kitchen, as it was a chef's wet dream. All the counters are made of stainless steel, as this was far superior to what most people had. The only problem was no food. Well, this was easy to solve as he created a clone. As the clone went off to buy food, he then went up to the second floor. As he came up to the rooms, each room was 3 sizes the apartment room that he had. Each of them had a queen-size bed, 2 dressers, and a walk-in closet. They also came with their own bathroom, which had a shower, bath combo, and a personal jacuzzi. There were 10 of these rooms in all, enough to hold a decent, large-sized family. As he went upstairs and reached a master bedroom, as Naruto was shocked, this room was not just a room, it was the entire 3rd floor. As several leather chairs were in the left-hand corner, that was in front of another flat screen that was on the wall. A king-size bed was over to the right, that had red sheets and red pillows. As he saw a walk-in closet twice the size as the ones downstairs. As he saw a bathroom, as this one had a double shower head. As he walked over to the dresser to see pictures of his parents, some which were actually funny, as his mom was taking a picture of his dad, as he was eating ramen, and she reached out her hand to touch his face, and some of them, it made tears came near her eyes, as he saw a pregnant kushner, as her hands was on her belly. Minato kneeling down, kissing her belly, and another one Minato holding her tightly, as the both of them had a big smile on their face, just a young couple who would not think about any tragedy to come. As Naruto wiped away the longing tear, knowing not to dwell on the past, it's better to look towards the future. As he put the picture down and left the room, as the basement was the only place left. Thanks to the seals his father put up on the basement, he was able to survive the Kyuubi attack. Or at least that was what Jiraiya told him. His father took precautions when designing the seals for the basement, since the place was going to be where his mother and father studied seals or spar and practiced jutsus. But Jiraiya was not actually sure of the state, since it was only Naruto's blood that can open this place up. Going down there, Naruto saw 4 different sectors, one of them being a library, which was filled with thousands of scrolls and knowledge from jutsus to weapons, forging, and some on civilian faculties like gardening. There was a large dojo with weapons everywhere, and there was an office, as he could see where his father had studies and come up with new steel and jutsus. The last era was a practice era where you practice these seals and these jutsus, as it was a self-repairing area, so the damage that it takes, the seals, will fix everything. As Naruto knew that he would probably not get any sleep tonight, as he created 500 clones, and they headed off to the library to read. The next morning, Naruto stretched as he sat up in the bed. He looked over at the clock. It was 6 AM in the morning. Despite only getting 4 hours of sleep, Naruto felt completely refreshed. Benefits of being a Jinchuriki. As he got out of bed and got dressed in standard shinobi attire. Time skip. At Training Ground 7, as several people were waiting to see one, Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto, as Tsunade let it slip that Naruto has returned and was going to have a sparring session. Yosh, Lee said, I wonder how Naruto-kun has been doing. It will be most youthful to see him again. No doubt, Naruto flames of youth are burning even brighter than ever, Lee, said Guy, as he went into his nice guy pose, completed with sparkling teeth. As much as I dislike your phrasing, I have to agree, said Neji. He will be definitely most stronger than last time we saw him. He will definitely be most stronger than last time, said Tenten. I pick up a recent Bingo book and Naruto has his own page in there. He's been called the second Yellow Flash. I hear that the Stone is even thinking of giving him a SS class ranking, and several countries has a surrender on sight order if he catch them. Tenten never really talked to Naruto that much, but he earned her respect well when he defeated Neji, and that respect only climbed when she heard that he was not only the son of a 4th Hokage, but he was the son of Kushina Uzumaki, who has been well known for her Kenjutsu and Ninjutsu. Meanwhile, I wonder what Naruto's gonna be like now, Ino said, as she looked at her 2 companions, with all the rumors going around. I'm sure that he's gonna be much different from what we remember. What do you think, Forehead? Ino asked as she turned to Sakura. Sakura did not say anything, but the mention Naruto's name, her face turned bright red. I think he's gonna be more troublesome, even now, than when we were at the academy, said Shikamaru, as Shikamaru was lying on the grass, just looking up in the sky. He may be stronger, but he's still Naruto, Choji said, as he munched on his bag of potato chips. I bet you anything he will be like his old man, said Asuma, as he took a drag of his cigarette. Man, I can't stand all this waiting. It's killing me, Kiba said, as he stood with his team. What do you think, Hinata-san? Asked Shino. I think that Naruto will be much stronger, she stuttered, as she poked her fingers together. Kurenai just looked over her students with a smile. A little way stood 5 other figures. Aruka, Shizune, Kakashi, Jiraiya and Tsunade. As Shizune was disappointed, she came back and she did not see Naruto, as she wasn't there to see him. Hopefully, she would get to see her brother figure today and see how strong he has become. Aruka was also excited to see Naruto. Here he comes, said Kiba, as everyone turned to see Naruto walking out of the opposite side of the tree line. Sakura, Shizune, Ino and Tenten all found a blush spreading across their face. Hinata, who had her Byakugan on, spotted more than them, as she passed out because of blood loss. Even Kurenai, who was currently dating Asuma, found it hard to stop the heat from rising in her cheeks, as Naruto walked up to them with a smile on his face, caused the woman to feel heat. Going to other areas. Yo, I hope you guys have been doing good while I was gone, Naruto said, greeting all of them with a smile, as many of them couldn't believe that this was Naruto. When in the academy he was small, considered a shrimp, but now he was buff. He looked like a man, as they were surprised. The silence was broken when Lee spoke. Yosh, Naruto, you have truly grown and bathed in that youthful flames. I look forward to sparring with you. And if I cannot beat you, I will. Naruto stopped Lee's speech with a raised hand as he chuckled. It seems some people never change. I look forward to sparring with you as well. It will be interesting to see how our taijutsu styles compare with each other. It was like a dam opened up as the rest of them rushed over and started bombarding with questions, barely giving Naruto any time to talk. As Navi and Jiraiya smiled, seeing how happy Naruto was, and seeing how happy his friends were to see him. As Navi gave them a bit of time to talk before they decided to get the test started. As much as I would love to let you all talk Naruto ear off, we have a test, she said, as they back off of Naruto as he adjusts his headband. This test will be Kakashi Hatake versus Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze in a one-on-one battle. As Naruto and Kakashi made their way to the center. Brings back memory, huh, Sensei, Naruto said. As he looked at the middle training post, as he remembered when he was tied up to it. Yes, it does, said Kakashi. Now then, remember to come at you with the intent to kill Naruto, cut him off, with a smirk on his face. If you want me to fight without restraint, then you're gonna have to remove that headband and reveal that eye of yours. Otherwise, you might not live past a second. You know, said Kakashi, somehow, I'm not gonna chance it, he said, as he lifted up his headband. Are both fighters ready, asked Navi, as the both of them nodded. Then, begin, she said, as the both of them clashed in taijutsu. As this went on for a while, Kakashi had a Sharingan. Even though Naruto was fast, he could still see Naruto movements and know where he would be next. On the sidelines, Konoha 11 was watching the battle with shock. They knew that Naruto has gotten stronger, but to keep up with Kakashi like this, he was holding his own. Neither of them were getting a hit in perfectly because Naruto was parrying Kakashi's attack, and Kakashi was parrying Naruto's attack with force as well. He was not simply reading his book. He's fast, Neji said, as he activated his Byakugan. My eyes cannot keep up with him, and he isn't even going all out. Tenten turned to Neji in shock. He's real that strong, she said. Yes, I also noticed several weights on him, and I'm guessing he's much faster. As that was going on, Lee was on the ground crying. To think that Naruto's got this strong. It is most youthful. He brought his hand up in the air before bringing a fist in front of his face. I will increase my training and try to fan my flames of youth just like Naruto-kun. If I cannot do that, then I will do 4,000 laps to the sand on my hands. That's my boy, Lee, said Guy. It's good to see you stroke your youthful flames. I will help you, and if you cannot do 4,000 laps to the sand, I will do several million push-ups on my thumbs. Guy Sensei, Lee, Guy Sensei, Lee. The two then crashed into a hug as a sunset with waves and everything appeared behind them. As Kurona and the others are trying to dispel this illusion, but it was failing as no one could understand what was this illusion. As Neji and Tenten, who were used to it, just sigh as they look back at the battle. It has been 15 minutes now since the both of them had been training blows, but Naruto has been holding back. He was analyzing Kakashi, as Kakashi could tell, as Naruto was not putting it all in. As Naruto decided to switch styles after getting a lock of Kakashi's movements. As Naruto's speed increased a lot, his moves coming in ferocious. After reviewing his head, his battle with Sasuke, and study what he can on Sharingan, Naruto found out that the dojutsu had a flaw. They would fail against attacks that had no style to them. Every fighting style always had a stance. As a Sharingan could see the potent chakra and make ready counters to see where the person would guide their body in different ways. But if there was no style of fighting used, then it would be impossible to predict the movements, since not even the one that was used in style knew what he was going to do next. As Naruto created this style, it was his counter to the Sharingan, as Jiraiya helped him create it, but he never used it before. So this will be the best time to show it, before he ran to Sasuke or Madara and figured out it didn't work. Kakashi was surprised when Naruto started to move different, as he was caught completely off guard. Instead of aiming for his left shoulder, Naruto twisted his body at the last second, as Kakashi was going down to block it, but Naruto twisted around and slammed a feet right into his stomach. Kakashi quickly got back up to dodge a fist that was coming towards his head, but the fist then went outwards, as Naruto brought up his other hand, knocking Kakashi right under the chin. What the hell? Kiba shouted, as he watched Naruto kick Kakashi's ass. When did Naruto get so powerful, he thought? You do realize that he's an S-rank ninja, right? Said Shino, as Kiba just lowered his head. But guys, we'll be ending this episode right here. Before the next part of this, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn the bell notifications to stay posted. And yeah, I'm out for now, guys. See you guys soon. Peace.